Hello dear tea friends from around the world, and welcome to Taiwan with me, Stéphane Erler, founder of the Tea Masters blog and the tea-masters.com boutique. We're back on today for a new tea class about the little things in tea and also about how to hold a teapot, because this is probably one of the most important things in these little things. These little things is actually what distinguishes, let's say, a beginner from a more advanced tea brewer. It's these little details that let you quickly understand the level of somebody's tea making skills. Now there are some things that people who brew for a long time don't learn, and this, I think, will damage their brewing skills, make their tea not as good as it should be or could be, and therefore it's really a waste. And I hope that you will learn of some of these things. So it's not just for the show, actually. These little things are very important even for the quality of your brew. Let's start with one of these little things. In the past, when people from the Chinese mafia met, there was no internet, so there was no Facebook. People did not know each other's face, and maybe one guy from the mafia from one town went to another town to meet the local bosses and to make some business, illegal business, and to discuss things. And so when he arrives at the address, nobody knows him. And in China, Taiwan, as is often the case, the first thing we do is to offer tea to a guest, and then the little thing, the little sign that will show that this guy is from our same milieu, from our same organization, is that when the tea is poured, that he would pick the cup in the middle. This was a sign to recognize each other, that you would pick the cup in the middle if you belonged to this same organization, the Julin Bang, the Bamboo Gang, or all these different gangs that existed and actually still exist to some level in Chinese Taiwanese society. So there are some codes that have to be learned to be considered one of us. And today I'm going to teach you some of these codes, and we'll start with holding the teapot well, because I see many mistakes, and they have an impact. Because first we have to go back to the fundamentals. What do we want when we brew tea? To have the best harmonious cup of tea, so that the aroma and from the leaves is extracted at the same weight, at the same time. So we want really the leaves to open up at the same speed, at the same weight, and to be balanced, the teapot must also be balanced, and therefore the way you hold it, if you hold it in a balanced way, the brew will come from all sides at the same weight. But if you hold it on one side or on the other side, then it will make the leaves on one side or the other have longer contact with the water than the others, and this will make the leaves open up unevenly inside the teapot. So it's really important that when you hold the teapot, you hold it balanced and not sideways. And to do so, there is a proper way of holding the teapot. So this is what we are going to see now. I'm even going to show how with different teapots, because different teapots, of course, have a little bit different shapes in the handle. Some are a bit thinner, some are a bit larger. Sometimes they are thin on top and large below. Sometimes it's the opposite. Most of the time it's the opposite. Sometimes they are a bit square. So if the teapot is well made, it will help you to hold it well. If not, you have to rely on your own skill with your fingers. Now, another important thing that you sometimes see me do, and probably if you've seen my picture to register for this class, you see that I will do this with my finger. With my forefinger, I'm pushing the knob on the lid, so that the lid opens up a little bit and more air goes inside. Now this airflow will help the water to go out faster, and it will also this additional air and oxygen will also help make the tea a little bit smoother, especially for roasted teas or aged pours. This can have a beneficial impact to make the tea smoother by doing this, by opening up the lid a little bit by pressing the knob like this. So in order to do so, this is something you can try to do already without any water. It will be easier, and you will see that if you hold your handle very low, you have trouble to push to reach the knob. So actually, probably it's easier to hold it a bit higher. And another thing that is, of course, very important is how you hold the handle. Now, I see sometimes people put their thumb inside. This is not correct. You don't have any control on the teapot when you do so, and it does not look very elegant. Remember, a charshi is to combine always beauty and performance, quality. So we want to be graceful and also to produce the best tea. So the way to do it is to hold your handle with the thumb and the middle finger, and the fourth finger, and I don't know in English what's the name, will be pressed below, will touch the handle also, so that you have three fingers that are actually holding the handle, the thumb and the middle finger on both sides and the fourth finger below. And then it should enable you to touch the knob on top. Maybe you can adjust the place where you hold your teapot higher or lower. You try to find the best place. It will be a little bit different from one teapot to another. So this is something you have to feel yourself if you do it. But usually, if you go too low, you will not reach the knob, so you have to be a little bit higher, but also not too close to the body. Otherwise, it will become too hot. So you have to. This is something you don't feel now when you do it without hot water inside. This you will find out later on. But at least you get a feel on how to hold it. And also, when it's empty, it's easier to practice. Okay, here it goes. If you really have a very large teapot or very small fingers, the way to do it, and it's possible. There are some large teapots, and some people have smaller hands. So if you are really not able to do this, what you can do is what will still be as effective and very pleasing to the eye. It's important still that you do the same, that you hold it the same way with these 3 fingers, with the handle, because 3 is like for a trépied when you want to hold your camera. We have a tripod. Tripod is really very stable, so having 3 fingers is the way to keep it really stable and be able to control that it remains horizontal. And so if you cannot touch the knob, then what you do, you can put your middle finger a bit, no, your forefinger a bit behind, and you use your second hand to pour and to open up slightly the lid. So you see, so then now the forefinger is not so useful, but you can do this up. But it's important that you use these 3 fingers to hold the teapot here like this. So you can practice with your teapot or teapots first when they are empty, and then you can also practice once they are full. Okay. Let me see your question, if you have any. And this I think will help you. Let me also do a demonstration when the teapot is full. My water is hot. I just brought it to a boil before the class, and now, so I try to find the best space on the handle so that I can touch the knob with my forefinger. And so the idea when you pour is not to be on one side or on the other. And what is really very nice with this way of holding the teapot is that automatically the easiest position for my teapot is when it's stable not on one side. If I were to put it on one side, I would start to feel pressure now. If I pour it, if I had it a bit more leftwise, I would have pressure on my thumb, and if I were a bit too inclined on the right hand side, I would have pressure on my middle finger. So the beauty is that automatically you are going to adjust so that the teapot is not tilted on one side or the other naturally, because this is the position where you use the least strength. Now, and you see, I could pour my water in my cups without any drops. Maybe there was one only on the side. So it's also allowing me to have a lot of control and precision with the flow of my tea from my teapot. This of course will also depend from one teapot to another. Some have better flow than others, some are easier to control than others. You have sometimes to adjust, sometimes do a little movement to stop the flow in midair, and maybe it's easier to practice first, but the way that you control your teapot will tell people around you how skilled you are in the art of tea. And so it's like not making too many splashes really will show also if you master or not your teapot. Somebody, how can you be a tea master if you're not able to master the flow of your tea and your teapot? Another thing I think is a bit important is so to have a nice flow in the teacup. Of course, it will be easier to do so if you are not too far from the teacup. It's easier to aim if you are closer. This is common sense. If you were to pour from very high, not only would you miss, but you would make a sound that reminds me more of the sound I'm making in the toilet. So it's not a very pleasing sound, I would say, to the ear, because it does not remind us of something very elegant, let's say. So the best way to pour is also close to the teacups. And let me see if you have any questions. I think that will be it for today. It's already a lot for you to chew, maybe. And if you have some questions, maybe we can continue next week to improve your teapot holding skills. Thank you very much, and I see you next time. Bye bye.